Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't mean to cut off in that last video. So that was just the children of Jacob. So Jacob left and he stayed with Laban, and he helped Laban prosper because Jacob earned God's favor. So because he was fleeing his brother Esau. So he went to the land of his uncle Laban, and so Laban did not want him to leave when God told Jacob it was time for him to leave. Laban didn't want him to leave because of how prosperous Jacob had made Laban. So Jacob was afraid that uh that Laban wouldn't allow him to leave, so he left in the middle of the night like a thief in the middle of the night. And he was unaware that one of his wives had taken his daughter or his gods, his idols that he worshipped. Laban didn't worship the Hebrew Israelite. He worshipped his pagan gods, and they one of his wives, Leah, I believe, Leah and Rachel. I'm sorry, Leah and Rachel. Rachel had taken the idols, but when Laban caught up with them, God had already spoken to Laban, saying, "Watch how you talk to Jacob, because don't get crazy, because you have to deal with me." So when Laban got there, he was angry that he left. Why did you leave in the middle of the night? I could have sent you off with joy and singing and gifts. Instead, you left in the middle of the night and you stole my idols. You stole my gods. And Jacob was like, "What are you talking about? I didn't steal any of your gods. You can look through all my stuff." Well, the whole time Rachel's sitting there, she's sitting on top of the idols that she had taken from Laban. But when he went to go search, Rachel was like, "Sorry, I got women problems. I can't get up." And he was like, "Okay." So he didn't find anything. And what happened was that Jacob finally said, "Look, you didn't find anything. If you found something, bring it here, and then we'll deal with it. But since you didn't, leave me alone." Then he made a covenant. Laban made a covenant with Jacob, and he said, "Here we eat at this altar that we created with stones. On this half that is my land, and this half over here that is your land, and let it be known in front of this covenant." Jacob was on his way back. Was on his way back to his land, and remember that Jacob's mom had told her that she would let Rebecca told Jacob, "I will send for you when Esau's anger has subsided. I will send for you to come back." She never sends for him, but Jacob knows to go back. So maybe he wasn't so. Maybe he hadn't forgiven Jacob. I don't know, but she never sent for him. But Jacob was on his way back anyway. So here was just Genesis 32. Esau comes to meet Jacob. So Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God met him. When Jacob saw them, he said, "This is God's camp." And he called the name of that place Mahanaim. Then Jacob sent messengers before him to Esau his brother in the land of Seir, the country of Edom, Mount Seir, mountains. Esau lived in mountains, caves. And he commanded them, saying, "Speak thus to my lord Esau. Thus your servant Jacob says, I have dwelt with Laban and stayed there until now. I have oxen, donkey, flocks, and male and female servants, and I have sent to tell my lord that I may find favor in your sight." Then the messengers returned to Jacob, saying, "We came to your brother Esau, and he also is coming to meet you, and 400 men are with him." So Jacob was greatly afraid and distressed, and he divided the people that were with him, and the flocks and herds and camels into two companies. And he said, "If Esau comes to the one company and attacks it, then the other company, which is left, will escape." So he split his people into two. I'm assuming 6 kids here, 6 sons here, and 6 sons here. And here, Dinah's going to go over there because he was afraid. Because Esau didn't say, send back the message like, "Hey, I'm coming in peace." He just said, "I'm coming, and I'm coming with 400 people." So Jacob, the last interaction they had was Jacob stealing Esau's blessing. And Esau, what did he say? And I shall hate him. I hate. Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing which with his father blessed him. So Jacob was afraid that Esau was coming to kill him. So he separates his people. So if these die, at least my lineage will live on. Then Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham and God of my father Isaac, the Lord who said to me, return to your country and to your family, and I will deal well with you. I am not worthy of the least of all the mercies and of all the truth which you have shown your servant. For I crossed over this Jordan with my staff, and now have become two companies. Deliver me, I pray, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he come and attack me and the mother with the children. For you said, I will surely treat you well and make your descendants as the sand of the sea, which cannot be numbered for multitude. So that was another covenant that Jacob had made with God, just like God made the covenant with Abraham, that his descendants shall number the stars. Jacob's covenant was with God was that his descendants shall be the sand of the sea. These are covenants, but it's all from one bloodline: Shem, Seth, Shem, all the way down Abraham. That's how it goes. I'm sorry, we haven't even gotten to. So he lodged there that same night, and took what came to his hand as a present for Esau his brother: 200 female goats and 20 male goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 milk camels with their colts, 40 cows and 10 bulls, 20 females and 10 foals. This is what came to him there. These animals just showed up. Just showed up. So he's thinking these are gifts from God, and God wants him to give these gifts to Esau. Then he delivered them to the hand of his servants, every drove by itself, and said to his servants, pass over before me, and put some distance between successive droves. And he commanded the first one, saying, when Esau my brother meets you, and asks you, saying, to whom do you belong, and where are you going? Whose are these in front of you? Then you shall say, they are your servant Jacob's. It is a present sent to my lord Esau, and behold, he is also behind us. So he commanded the second, the third, and all who followed the drove, saying, in this manner you shall speak to Esau when you find him, and also say, behold, your servant Jacob is behind us. For he said, I will appease him with the present that goes before me, and afterward I will see his face. Perhaps he will accept me. So the present went on over before him, but he himself lodged that night in the camp. All of these things that showed up to Esau and to Jacob in the middle of the night, he split them up into groups of three and sent one ahead. And as he comes up to Esau, say these are gifts from Jacob. And then he sent a second one. These are gifts from Jacob. Then he sent a third. These are gifts from Jacob. So that when Esau gets to Jacob, he sees that all the gifts that he was given to him. This was Jacob's thought process. Let me buy my love. Let me buy Esau's forgiveness for what I have done. Taking his birthright, stealing his blessing. He didn't steal his birthright. Esau gave his birthright to Jacob, but he stole a blessing. Now this is Jacob wrestling with God. This after he's already sent all this out. He's sent these people before him. Now he's waiting. He's still waiting on God's camp, Mahanaim. And he arose that night and took his two wives, his two female servants, and his 11 sons, and crossed over the ford of Jabbok. He took them, sent them over the brook, and sent over what he had. Then Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him, man is capitalized, until the breaking day. Now when he saw that he did not prevail against him, he touched the socket of his hip, and the socket of Jacob's hip was out of joint, as he wrestled with him. And he said, let me go, for the day breaks. This is who Jacob is wrestling. It's that Jacob had come over him, and he had got him. And the reason he touched Jacob's hip bone was because he was losing. And he said, "Let me go, for the day breaks." But he said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." So he said to him, "What is your name?" He said, "Jacob." And he said, "Your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you have struggled with God and with men and have prevailed." Then Jacob asked, saying, "Tell me your name, I pray." And he said, "Why is it that you ask about my name?" And he blessed him there. So Jacob called the name of that place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Just as he crossed over Penuel, the sun rose on him, and he limped on his hip. Therefore, to this day, the children of Israel do not eat the muscle that shrank, which is on the hip socket, because he touched the socket of Jacob's hip in the muscle that shrank. I just want to highlight the place that Jacob called that where he wrestled with God and called it in it would translate to "for I have seen God face to face and my life is preserved." Pineal. Is there anything in our body that is called a pineal? Maybe the pineal gland, the third eye, where everything that is our connection to God. Is it a surprise that they have been poisoning us with fluoride, with even with the caffeine that we drink? Everything we consume is designed to calcify our pineal gland. Why is that? Why do they want to calcify our pineal gland? When you eat shrooms, it decalcifies that pineal gland, and that's why you have a crazy trip because you're seeing those other dimensions, those other worlds. Your pineal gland was our connection to our God. And that's why they've been systematically calcifying it and shutting it down so we don't have that connection. So we don't see what it is that we are supposed to see, which is our creator, our connection to our creator. As we become more spiritual and we become start walking in the Holy Spirit, walking with the Holy Spirit, our pineal gland slowly starts to decalcify because you stop wanting all those things that are made to calcify it. Alcohol, wine, beer, vodka, tequila, drugs, all of that stuff is designed to calcify your pineal gland. And here's what pineal: for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Oh, everything in him. I was researching the pineal gland. It's your third eye, your chakra. Everything helps to that. All of that's connected, but the reason it is because this is what is written already. They didn't have fluoride back in the day to calcify the pineal gland. That's why people spoke to God. That's why God was able to speak. Well, not God. It's the Metatron, the voice of God. If we were to hear God's voice, where our head we would just explode just over the sheer. He created a whole earth out of nothing. What do you think he'll do to us if we hear his voice? But people heard we were able to communicate with God because of that pineal gland, because we were made in his perfect creation. We were made in his image. Why would he not make something, put something in us that helped us communicate with him? I mean, is that not common sense? Every form of communication, it's all in here. So that back to Jacob and Esau meet. Now Jacob lifted his eyes and looked there. Esau was coming, and with him were 400 men. So he divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the two maidservants, Bilhah and Zilpah. And he put the maidservants and their children in front, Leah and her children behind, and Rachel and Joseph last. Rachel's obviously his favorite. Joseph, maybe, I don't know. Then he crossed over before them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near to his brother. There's a number you'll see a lot in the Bible, 7. You'll see that number 7 a lot. Number 3 also, and number 12. But Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. And he lifted his eyes and saw the women and children and said, "Who are these with you?" So he said, "The children whom God has graciously given your servant." Then the maidservants came near, and they and their children and bowed down, and Leah also came near with her children, and they bowed down. Afterward Joseph and Rachel came near, and they bowed down. Then Esau said, "What do you mean by all this company which I met?" And he said, "There are to find favor in the sight of my lord." He meant the three people that were sent out before. Esau wanted to know why he sent them. What was the whole point of it? And Jacob was like, "Because I don't want you to kill me. I want you to know I was here to I was trying to make amends for the things that I have done." And then, but Esau said, "I have enough, my brother. Keep what you have for yourself." And Jacob said, "No, please. If I have now found favor in your sight, then receive my present from my hand. Inasmuch I have seen your face, as though I had seen with the face of God, and you were pleased with me. Please take my blessing that is brought to you, because God has dealt graciously with me, and because I have enough." So he urged him, and he took it. Then Esau said, "Let us take our journey. Let us go, and I will go before you." But Jacob said to him, "My Lord knows that the children are weak, and the flocks and herds which are nursing are with me. And if the men should drive them hard one day, all the flock will die. Please let my Lord go on ahead before his servant. I will lead on slowly at a pace which the livestock that go before me and the children are able to endure until I come to my Lord in Seir, Mount Seir." And Esau said, "Now let me leave with you some of the people who are with me." But Jacob said, "What need is there? Let me find favor in the sight of my Lord." So Esau returned that day on his way to Seir, and Jacob journeyed to Succoth, built himself a house, and made booths for his livestock. Therefore, the name of the place is called Succoth. Then Jacob came safely to the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, when he came from Padam Aram. And he pitched his tent before the city, and he bought the parcel of land where he had pitched his tent from the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 pieces of money. Then he erected an altar there and called it El Elohi Israel. Jacob never went to Esau's house. It never talks about having dinner with him, because that's what friends and family do. They eat dinner in the houses of the others. Jacob never does that once he comes back to meet Esau. I don't know if maybe God told, maybe he saw something, maybe he was very leery of Esau, because before he left, he wanted to kill him, and now it's all cherries and roses, or whatever. And so Jacob was very, very cautious. Maybe the fact that Rebecca never sent for him to come back, because she said, "I'll send to you back when your brother's anger has subsided." So maybe Jacob was like, well, if my mom didn't send for me, maybe, I don't know what it was, but for whatever reason, Jacob never went to go eat with Esau. So meaning he never trusted him again. Maybe he knew there was going to be a trap. Maybe whatever Esau was going to do, it was not going to be good. It wouldn't be anything good towards Jacob and his family, because as you go through the Bible and you read the Edomites, they have a hatred towards Jacob, and it should have died with this one part right here, with Esau and Jacob meeting back up again. That hatred should have died, but it does not. It goes on, and the Edomites continue to transgress towards God's chosen people. That's why he's got indignation with them forever. So Moses made it a point. There's a whole chapter 36, the family of Esau. All of these lineages are important when you read them in the Bible. The genealogy of Esau, the genealogy of Adam, the genealogy of Jesus. It's telling you there's a reason he started from Adam, and then Jesus, it shows why he was the chosen from the tribe of Judah. Jesus was a Jew because he was from the tribe of Judah. Those imposters in Israel right now, they call themselves Jewish because they're like Jews, but they're not. They're Satan's people. Satan knew what God did was good. God made gave all these uh, Feast of Tabernacles and told the Jews how to worship and praise. So what did Satan do? He took what God gave them. He did the same thing, except he perversed it. God said, "Do not eat the blood, for the soul is in the blood." Satan said, "Give me that blood. I'll take it." The Satanists, anybody that worships Satan, they sign that contract, they give their soul away. It is there. It's waiting. So they can't do anything. So they need to get that soul by drinking the blood of the innocent. All of these, the family of Esau. It's one. I mean, it's 2 pages. The kings of Edom. Eliphaz. Eliphaz was the son, the firstborn son of Esau. Where else does Eliphaz come? He comes in the book of Job. He's from the land of Teman, and he's Esau's son. He's an Edomite that is trying to tell Job that he did something wrong. He must confess to God. So he's trying to subserviate what Esau was doing. I'm sorry, Job. He was trying to have Job forsake his God because Edomites actively search out Israelites or God's chosen people, Christians now, because we are all brought under the covenant of the Israelites. So they in the middle of the 12 sons. Oh, here's where the now the sons of Jacob were 12. The sons of Leah were Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, and Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. There's Benjamin right there. I'll stop there. My next video will be Joseph's role in all of this and what he did. That he was used as an instrument of God. But remember, Joseph and Benjamin were the two youngest. They were Jacob's favorite, or Israel. They were Israel's favorite because now Jacob's name was turned to Israel. Just like Abraham's name used to be Abram. God changed it. He changed it for a reason. I'll go ahead. I'll upload these 2 videos. They're back to back. I know, but I accidentally pushed stop instead of pause. Oh, look, there's the pause button right there. Dumb. Okay. All right, guys. God bless, and I will see you again.